sitting down with senior estimator Keith Fussell. Mate, I'm actually really looking forward to having a chat today because I think I've worked with you for 8 years now, but I realise there's still a whole bunch that I don't know about you. So
pretty secretive.
It's pretty secretive.
Don't like too many people to know too much about me.
Yep. Well, let's dive into a bit of it today. So one thing I do know, a bit of background from you is that, yes, you're our senior estimator at Usher right now, but prior to that, you weren't always in an office job, were you? So where did your career start?
Well, it started back in 76 as an apprentice carpenter. Did 4 years of that.
Chippy.
Yeah, down in Vico, high school Geelong.
Yep.
Then moved up here in 1980, worked for McMaster's as a formwork carpenter for, the first stint was probably about 4 years. And then, just other companies like ceiling fixers, petitions, and always on the tools.
Always on the tools, yep.
Yeah.
So from Geelong, moved up, done a bit of work around different places. So how did that transition happen? How did you go from being on site on the tools to moving into an office estimating role? A bit more complex?
Well, it was, 12 years ago, and I finished up with a mob called John's Ling. I was a estimator, foreman type of thing. And, I worked with them for 12 months and they wanted too much out of you.
Yep.
And they I'm not going to bag them, but, it just wasn't for me. And then, I saw an ad in the paper. I was going through the paper one day and it said, estimator for, Usher and Son. And I thought, I'll give it a go. So I rang up and I got on to Theo when he was in the office.
Yep.
And, he just went from there. He come in for an interview with him and his father, Phil.
Yep.
And, he rang me back 2 days later and said, righto, come in, you got the job.
Wow. And how long ago was that? And how many years have you been with Usher?
12.
12 years.
12
Jeez,
years, yeah.
It's a good innings. So
it is.
And I imagine Usher looked pretty different back then. So you got interviewed by Theo, the director, owner of the business.
Yes.
So he was obviously a bit more involved those days.
Yeah, he was. He was really involved. And I probably spent 2 hours with him.
Yeah, right.
Just talking about people I knew and he knew and bits and pieces. But it was good. It was good. Felt really comfortable. It wasn't like going to a really big executive office and sitting down with a heap of people for an interview. It was just one-on-one, or basically one-on-one. Phil was there, but it worked out well.
Yep, that's pretty cool.
Really well.
So your time at Usher, 12 years now. There's a bit of a rumour going around that you've amassed over $100 million in projects won. Does that sound accurate?
Probably a bit more, but yes, it's around that figure.
Wow.
But I've just been lucky that all the big jobs that I priced we've won, and I think it was well before COVID. We picked up a lot of EBA work, which helped. But like I keep saying to people, it's good to get a bit of glory, but it's for the company.
Yep.
Yeah. If you win on work, you're keeping the company afloat and keeping people employed.
Talk to us about your estimating role. So the focus is on the painting trade mainly, or the applied finishes trade?
Yeah, painting, wallpaper, applied finishes, and that's basically it.
Yep.
But I enjoy it. Really do enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think
you'd have to if you've done it for 12 years. And
well, I don't miss site. I miss walking around with, when we go for a site visit, but actually running jobs, I don't miss it at all.
No.
Do not miss it one little bit.
The headaches out on site?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all changed since I was, I didn't do big jobs, but it's changed a hell of a lot. I honestly, I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
But
so what gave you the confidence then to go from being on site? How did you build up to that point where you're securing, $5-10 million projects for Usher and, going in, sitting at the table with the client? And
well, just being confident, knowing the conditions on site, being previously on site as
So do you think that played a big part in helping you become a good estimator, was having that site-based knowledge and understanding?
I think so, yes. Yep. Yeah, know what to look for.
Yep. Knowing how to read the plans. Yep.
Yeah, I think that was a big help. And, building relationships with builders.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of it, once you've you've done your serious stuff, you can have a bit of a joke and talk a bit of rubbish.
Yeah. I think that's something that I've really admired in you and in my time working with you is just seeing the way that you interact with clients and the relationship and the rapport you build with them. And I think they've instantly got that trust with you and they know they can have a laugh. And, you can also talk about things that, otherwise you might try and avoid talking about. Like you get straight talking about the budgets that they're working with, challenges they've got on the job, issues that we're going to try and come up against and face. Like it's not always a common conversation pre-project, but that's I think the way that you built relationships is like you actually get to talk about that early and get on the right page with them, it helps us massively as a business.
It does, yeah. I think it does too. And some of them won't tell you what their budget is.
No.
But you can get it out of them.
Yeah. Poke and prod and squeeze.
Yeah. And especially if they say, well, we can't say who it is, and then I'll say, well, I'll tell you who I think it is, and you just say yes or no, please.
Yeah. You're talking about competitors now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So
knowing who you're up against?
Is it such and such? And I go, maybe. Well, yes or no? Well, yes. But no, that's good.
Which is great intel too, I think. So I guess maybe from your perspective, what's some of the key things about knowing when you're entering into a job that, you're wanting to put your time and energy into to try and get across the line? What are some of the things that you want to understand from the builder?
Well, basically what their budget is.
Yep.
And the scope. That's the biggest thing.
Scope.
And
timing for the project, I guess, plays a big part too.
Yeah.
When does it start? When does it finish?
Start date, finish date. And that obviously helps us with what rates to go in at.
Yep. Trying to factor in some escalation and pricing increase of materials and labour, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's good just to sit down with them and nut it all out.
Yeah. And if you can find out that information about who you're potentially tendering against, it helps understand what the playing field is and I guess how we need to position ourselves too, right?
Yeah, well, basically, we know who the players are.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it makes any difference to our costings, our pricing. It's just handy to know who we're up against.
Yeah.
Whether they're a grub or not.
Yeah.
But in the EBA world, there's not really too many grubs, I don't think, personally.
I'd agree with you. It's pretty conforming and I think they've got to hit a certain benchmark to even qualify to be in that arena. And it helps. I think it just makes it more of a professional environment where we can price things the right way, deliver them the right way and build that relationship. So
exactly.
Yeah. Out of your $100+ million projects, is there one that you really are super proud of that you think, I'm so grateful to have been a part of that? And
well, I'd have to say Queen's Wharf because it was a $3 billion project for multiplex.
Yeah.
And we did all of it basically, except for a fit out. Another company did. But the bulk of it was Usher's.
That was a huge feat in itself because the early conversations I remember was, the direction I guess was that the project was too big for any one contractor and that they were going to be splitting it up and that there's no way that there was one company that could do the entire painting for the entire development. So with Queen's Wharf, you've obviously got the massive basements and podium areas that connect everything.
Yep.
And what else have you got out there? You've got
Tower 1.
Tower 1.
Tower 1, it's still a cold shell. Yeah, it's a cold shell. I believe.
Yeah.
There's no fit out started yet, but there was Towers 2 and 3.
Yep.
And Tower 4.
Yeah.
But like you said, the basements and podiums, there was a massive amount of work there. And
it was basically the size of 4 or 5 independent major projects. Independently, but done together as a big integrated development. Yeah. And then they've got that beautiful sky deck up the top as well.
Yeah, I haven't been up there yet.
You haven't been up there yet?
No, I haven't been up there.
We need to get you up there.
Yeah, I'd like to go up and have a walk around. I really wanted to try and get there before it was handed over to the client so we could get into areas that you couldn't get into now, obviously.
Yeah.
It would have been good, but no, still haven't been up there yet.
Have to organise a tour, eh?
Would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we must do it.
Yeah. And then going back to relationships, so obviously that's probably the core of your focus. And yes, like estimating you have to go through that process, right? We can't secure a project without first getting the measure done, getting a price together, getting over the line. But I'd probably argue that that's, the smallest important step, in the whole process of winning a job. The most of it's really coming down to relationships, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the real difference maker. It's,
Well, it is. You feel comfortable with who you're dealing with.
Yep.
And you just don't ask questions. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Yeah.
Because if you hang back and you assume something, well, it could cost you a bloody fortune.
Yep. Yeah, it can go both ways, isn't it? We could either overestimate and then completely putting ourselves out of the opportunity to win a job, overpricing it, or you miss something significantly and, it costs you big time later.
That's right. And we're all human. We miss a few things here and there.
Yes.
But
I think every estimator has one of those moments where you've had a...
Yeah. Yep. Well, you don't go out of your way to miss it on purpose.
Yep.
And, I'm one of those type of people. If I've made a blue, if I've missed something, I'll put my hand up.
Yeah.
Don't blame anything.
Yeah.
Because there was one good one, but it was a human error.
Tell us.
It was a click of a button.
Yeah.
I was at level 39. I still remember it. Level 39 at 443 Queen Street.
Level 39. Yep. So what happened on level 39?
Well, it was measured up.
Yep.
But the old measuring system that we had, I think it was Adobe.
Yes. Yep.
You had to clone it, or not wasn't so much clone. You had to click a little square and it'd copy it, and then you'd go up and you'd paste it and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
you can tell I'm computer literate. And so I thought I'd click this button, and anyway, we submitted our price, and we're obviously still too high, even with no one knowing at the time that 39 wasn't in there, which was $40,000.
Wow.
And no one picked it up until. Months later, one of our CAs must have been doing a claim, and she's rung me up and said, Keith, is level 39 a plant room or a cold shell? And I said, no, it's all resi. No, it's not. It's a habitable area.
Definitely have work to do in there.
Yeah, anyway, I said, look, leave it with me, I'll check. So I've checked the drawings. It was all marked up.
Yep.
And I've got into our old estimating system, or I've looked, and it's, yes, external. Yeah, it's all there, but no level 39.
Oh, shit.
So anyway, it was, I said, yep, I've missed it.
So an entire level, no costs allowed, nothing, completely wiped.
No.
And sorry, you said that was to the tune of $40,000 worth of costs.
Yeah, it was. Yep. That's walls, ceilings, doors, frames, skirtings.
Wow. That's a good one.
It was. Oh. But, I think we I don't know how they got over it, but we didn't lose money on the job.
Yeah, well, must have made up for it somewhere else, eh?
We did. Yeah. But, unfortunately, I don't know all the ins and outs that happened with all that type of thing with the CAs and whatever. But, so that's probably my worst one.
Yeah. Well, it brings up a good thing to probably talk about is tech. I know you're not the most tech-savvy person.
No.
You're in your 60s, aren't you?
65.
65, yeah. You do incredibly well for 65 with some of the systems we use, but I know it has evolved a lot from when you started.
Oh,
so
a hell of a lot.
From what I can recall as well, like a lot of it was very manual, separate systems, and we had to. So you were marking up the plan. So you had your drawings, right, and you had to work out what your scope was by reading the plans, reading the finisher schedules, working out what areas you're going to paint, what you're not. And when you went through that process, you would mark it up on a system like Adobe, or even Bluebeam was something else that got brought in.
Adobe was the first one.
Yep,
I think.
Yep.
And then we went to Bluebeam, which was a lot better, but then we still had to manually put it into charges. So you got two separate systems. So you've marked up the drawings over here, which gives you all of your quantities for every finish. Yes,
so total square meters for walls, ceilings, doors, frames, the whole lot.
Yep.
So you got to take those numbers and you're manually adding that data into another system that builds out your costs.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, at the time was still a great system, right?
It was.
Yeah, it worked really well.
Time consuming.
But if you happen to miss something or miss a level or miss whatever else.
Exactly.
I guess the hard part too is that when you look on the surface, nothing stands out as being, this is missing. And you've looked at your marked up plans and everything's marked up. So you've got all the levels marked up. Everything looks good.
Yep.
But you're not realizing that somewhere within there's charges that are missing.
Exactly.
And it's not necessarily just a level that's gone. Sometimes there's one particular finish on a level that you just haven't entered in for whatever reason.
That has happened, yes.
Some little glitches. So what's changed now so that you don't have to necessarily worry about that as much?
Well, with the new system we got, which is Paint Projects, you create a job.
Yes.
And then once you start measuring, it automatically goes into the charges.
Wow. So it's all one system now, not separate.
Yeah. And then you can You can alter the rates. You can still get into it and do it.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about the drawings. You can still change all the dollar figures and rates and everything. But it's a lot quicker.
And the cool story I think about Paint Projects is that we were the big part of building that enterprise. So we were the guinea pigs essentially.
Weren't we?
Paint Projects being another one of Theo's businesses that he started, and something he's really passionate about too. Obviously, not just for Usher, but he's trying to help raise the industry standards of painting and trying to help educate other painters on how to cost things effectively so that it is more of a level playing field out there and people actually can go into a job and understand what they're getting themselves into and how many man hours, how much product they're using, all that sort of stuff. So for us, I mean, it's been a good 3 or 4 years of all of our estimators yourself going through a bunch of changes and updates, which has been challenging, but I think the benefits are starting to pay off now, and you can see the way the system works when the internet's moving at a good pace. It's really cool in that you're building out all of your charges in advance, as you said, as you're measuring it. That's building out your bill of quantities straight away. Yeah. And I think for me, in my role in helping see a job through, to getting it over the line as well, is that knowing when we're making changes along the way, every change that you make as an estimator is updating the quote at the same time. So there's, again, less human error opportunities. Yeah. Because that was something else that used to happen as well, is that when you had your two separate systems, you go and have a meeting and you'd have all these scope changes. Yes. So you'd go into your markups and make all those changes. And then if you didn't transfer all those changes across, the markups look correct and the client says, yep, you got the scope right. Yeah. We haven't updated our charges. And again,
that's right.
Opportunity for errors. Yeah. Yep. So now that's all eliminated, right? It's just as soon as you make a change, now your quote's up to date.
Yep. So if you've got to make a change, you make it on the drawing and it automatically goes into the charges. Yeah. Which is really good. Yeah. Really good. But old school, I got used to Bluebeam, like working with that. Yep. And then, just finally got onto Paint Projects because I remember Theo one day, I still hadn't used it and everyone else was on it. And he just walked into the office and he didn't say anything. He just opened the door, walked in, stood up against the wall and I looked around. I said, I know what you hear about. And no, I haven't started using Paint Projects yet because I'm still waiting. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but I'm waiting for someone to show me exactly what to do, but they're all busy at the moment. Yeah. And he said, that's all right. So
though, when you're in the radar.
Well, I didn't lie to him. I told him what it was about. I didn't know how to use it. But now I love it.
That's awesome.
Absolutely love it. I think
you're a good ambassador of it now, and I think going back to even relationships as well, is that now that you've got a system that is so effective for your estimating and cost planning, you get back so much valuable time to be actually spend more time with the clients and going out and sitting with them and having those conversations and less time putting things together and more time in the actual things that make a difference and getting a job over the line, which is really cool.
Oh, it's great. And I think they're updating all the time. They're finding, they're getting feedback from people that are just saying about a few items. Can they do this? Can they do that? And they'll either say, yes, we can do it, or no, we can't do it yet on this system. But
now that he's gone live to the market, it's a fast evolving system when they got the whole tech team, because like you said, it's not just us giving feedback now, it's now other painters that they've gone on board. I think they've got a good 100 or 200 subscribers already. Doing really well. Good. So
that'll keep them happy.
That's it. So keep you out of the radar.
I don't get into that much. No, not really. I think we've only ever had one sort of little tiff, but it was nothing major. Yeah. But that's not bad for 12 years.
That's not bad for 12 years, mate. So, that's really, really good.
Yeah, it was.
And who's, in terms of key partnerships or maybe before partnerships, back to relationships again, because I think it's just so fundamental. Who are some of your most, valuable relationships that you hold and that you make sure that you're maintaining and seeing regularly, talking to regularly? Let's talk about some key clients.
Well, Multiplex would have to be the top of the ladder.
Yes, yep.
So all the boys there.
Might be a few other builders if you're upset when you say that, but
well, they're the ones that we're doing most of the work for at the moment.
Yes, yep.
So there's Multiplex, Hutchies.
Yep.
Hutchison Builders, Brisbane. We've got Mervac.
Yep.
John Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Lend-Lease. There hasn't been a great deal from Lend-Lease, but we try to look after them when there's stuff to be priced.
Yeah, bit of Icon in there as well.
Yeah, Icon.
Those are the real sort of key tier one operators, aren't they?
That's who I mainly deal with.
Yeah. So how do you go about maintaining those relationships? What does that look like for you?
Well, just chase them up, get on the phone and find out what's happening. If we haven't heard from a certain builder for a while, just say, what do you got coming up? Then they'll start telling you. And then when it's ready, when the project's ready, the docs are ready, they'll send them out and just things like that, just keeping in contact with them.
Keep in contact. That's something I've seen that you've done really well, is that you get to know each individual so personally. You get to know what their favourite footy team is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where they grew up. Things that you can give them a bit of stick about as well, because I think that's important for relationships, is being able to have a bit of a laugh and stir each other up a bit.
Yeah, it sort of breaks the ice a bit. Like people I've never met before, you talk to them on the phone and you'll say, detect a bit of a Kiwi accent there. So you're obviously barrack for the All Blacks, or you're going for the Wallabies now that you're in Australia. It's just little things like
that. Yeah.
Just have a bit of banter with them.
Yeah.
Sort of breaks the ice. And then when you meet them personally, you still give it to them.
Yeah.
But it's good fun. It is good fun.
And I think for me, in your role as a senior estimator, something that I'm hoping to try and duplicate in more of our estimators internally as well, is just that mentality of every opportunity you get in front of the client, get on the phone to them, have a chat, because every opportunity is that time where you're building those connections and relationships and more confidence, more trust. But for you, I see every time you get a new project to work on, the first thing you try and do is get on the phone. And the second thing you do is go, when am I going to get in front of you? And, even if you don't have a reason at that point, you just go, I know that at some point, as I'm working through this project and I'm assessing and marketing up, I need to sit down with these people to understand the scope or make sure that we're on the same page. Yeah. And I think that's just so key, because it's easy, and there's myself included, it's easy sometimes to just get relaxed into what you do or feel like you're under pressure to get a job out. So you get stuck behind the computer.
Yep.
And sometimes you find yourself, you can go from start to finish and pretty much submit a job without even needing to talk to the client technically. It's something you've got to be pretty intentional and proactive about. Yeah. And I think that's where the gold is, right? Because yes, you can price a job and you can submit a job, but if you haven't interacted and engaged with the client, then have you understood it properly? Are they confident that you've understood it properly? Have you got a relationship? Are you going to get some more valuable information? Yeah. And I think for me, I love seeing that you do that. And it's something that I'm always trying to encourage in the team is, don't just price a job for the sake of pricing it. If you're going to invest your valuable time, you put all this effort into something, hours, weeks, sometimes on certain projects, make sure that you're taking that time to put into the client too, because that's the real gold. Yeah. I think from what I've seen from my perspective with the different services, and I guess because I'm helping look at the sales for the whole business, not just in one area, but I've seen where it's been a difference maker for us on securing some of the jobs. And Queen's Wharf actually was one of those ones as well, that painting on its own, obviously I think the client wanted to use us, but it's not always easy to just go, tick, we're going to use Usher.
That's right.
Sometimes there's got to be another difference maker. And one of the things that they actually helped us push was, well, we want to give you the signage package as well, but if we can package those two trades up together and we're looking after the painting and the signage package, then for one, that's helping solve their problem because they got less trades to manage. They got someone they can trust.
Yes.
But two, now we've actually separated ourselves from our competition because our competition isn't able to do that. They're pricing the painting package.
That's right.
Whereas now we're going, well, we're not just giving you the painting package, we're giving you both. It's an offer that they can't actually provide. Yes. And again, for me, it's a huge tick in our ability to service our clients better and also our competitive advantage in a way. And we've got so many other competitors that we've got a huge amount of respect for that do amazing work. And if we lose a project to them, we're happy to hear a job go to a good competitor where, they're doing good conforming work and,
That's right. And a lot of the builders, like you said, they want to keep all the eggs in the one basket.
Yep.
And if we can do that, like obviously painting, signage and access.
Yep.
And probably maintenance at the end of the job or whatever.
Yeah.
All well and good.
That whole full loop. Yeah. And the access team as well. Like you said, it doesn't happen as frequently on the new construction jobs because they're usually either wrapped in scaffold or they've got, screens going up.
That's right.
And we're working behind the screens.
Yeah.
But where they have come to save the day so many times where the builders love the fact that we can do it is our own swing stages that we own.
Yes.
And there's sometimes the drops on the buildings where, they haven't been able to get screens to them, whatever else, but there's still painted areas or even other trades that need to get there.
And we've got the abseilers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then even the mast climbers too for some bigger, heavy materials and things. So,
Yep.
and I know, again, like it's played a big role. There's a couple of key projects where we were able to package up virtually all of our services into one and, look after the access, the painting, the signage at the end, and then follow through to some ongoing maintenance plans.
Yeah.
And, it's just really cool as an organization to be able to do that.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it's a great tool for you as an estimator, as a salesperson, to be able to walk in there and go, yes, this is what I'm responsible for, what I'm looking at, but we also have the ability to help you in these areas, and you can pull in the expertise of another department.
That's right.
Work together.
And the builders love it.
They absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's like when we go for scope meetings,
Yep.
we'll say to them, like, what are you doing about access?
Yep.
Have you got a signage package? And they'll say, yeah, we'll send it out, please.
send it out. Yep.
Yeah. And I go, it works in well.
Yep. That's really good.
well.
And then obviously there's a big part of our role that we rely on other third parties and partners and industry, suppliers and things like that as well. So as a senior estimator, what's been your role in building some of those relationships with suppliers and partnerships, and what are some key ones that you have to use?
Well, my biggest role with those people, it hasn't been so much the painting side of things.
Sure.
It's been the wallpaper.
Yeah, right.
Like with your Barresques, your Cube, and InStyle, or I think InStyle, whatever. They're the big players, and they're the ones that I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does that interaction look like for wallpaper? So you're going to them because you need them to give you wallpaper supply?
Yeah, so I do the takeoff.
Yep.
And in the schedule it tells you what they got all their codes and whatever, and then you just get the square meters and send them off the details.
Yep.
And just say, can you give us a price on supply for this?
For this, yep. And it's another one that can be tricky too, right? Because it's not just square meters that you've got to get.
No,
you've got to work out the amount of drops for each wall, because each wallpaper is a certain width.
That's right.
And they've got to get a drop and work out how many drops they can do. And it's, converting square meters to linear meters, all that sort of stuff, getting it in a roll. And then when it gets to a pattern repeat,
That's exactly right. But I've got a spreadsheet, or I think, a spreadsheet that converts it. You put in square meters, it will give you your lineals, your wastage and all that sort of thing. And then, but it's great. That's really good. And it really helped for Destination Gold Coast.
Yeah.
There was a pain, that one, price on that one, as you know, because you helped.
Mm-hmm.
And, Queen's Wharf, they're the biggest ones.
Yep.
The biggest projects for wallpaper.
Yep.
I forget the value, but I think it was up. Well, I don't know what Queen's Wharf was worth, but was it $4 million, I think, for DGC, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure in the end our supply was a good $2 million worth just on its own. And then the application was another 2 or 3. So it was a good $4 or $5 million wallpaper package on its own.
Yeah.
And still working through that now. Actually, it was on site last week. It was the last week, yeah. And walking the job with our foreman and having a good look. And I think the most impressive part that I saw, like wallpaper, it looks great in buildings, but often it's just standard wallpaper to a wall, right?
Yep.
But in this one that you went through and had to measure, we've got wallpaper in the drawers,
that's
in the cabinetry, in behind the cabinetry. So as they open the cupboards, it's all in there. Yeah, and then the most impressive part that I saw was those sculpt walls. And I don't know, how you had to work those out. So these beautiful sculpt walls that go around the wet areas in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you worked out, or did you get told about how they had to apply those in the end?
No, I didn't. I think I had to measure up each scallop.
Each scallop, yeah.
As a lineal meter.
Yep.
And then I think what they were prefabbed, and the wallpaper guys wrapped them.
Yep.
Then they hooked them on, I believe.
Exactly right.
Similar to this.
Similar to that, yep. Yeah, so we had to change that methodology a few times. So originally it was all the sculpts are going to be installed.
That's right.
And the wallpapers just had to push it into the grooves and follow those contours around.
That's
and then it came to the fact that we actually had to get every individual scallop off the wall and wrap each one. So around the face, around the back, so it's tucked in. Yep. And then they would reinstall them back on, like you said. And there are thousands of these things in every room, every apartment, the whole way up. So it's been a real challenge, but it's looking good. I got some video footage out there. It's,
right.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't been in there either yet for a while.
Yep.
But must get down there. But
need to get you back out on site, hey?
Find some time
Dust
somewhere.
off the boots.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have to organise a golf day.
Yes, yep. So wallpaper's a big one. Obviously, we do have the huge relationships with all the paint manufacturers and some of the key players like the Wattles, Taubmans, Dulux, Hames.
Yeah.
And it's great, again, that there's another brand that we're closely aligned with Baxter that's in there as well, manufactured by Wattle.
Yes.
And it's awesome to be able to have some influence in those projects. And I think you do a good role in this too, in that you get given a package with a specification that's in there. And that's where you jump in as well with your experience and time. And obviously you didn't come from a painting background.
No.
But you've learned along the way to sort of go,
I've still got a lot to learn.
Yeah, I think we all do. And it's changing so often as well. And I think it's hard to stay relevant, but it's just asking those questions and not being afraid to investigate it. But, certain things we'll say on the drawings that it's this finish for this area.
Correct.
And that's where we have to sit down with the client and say, hey, what is the actual outcome that you want here? Because this product for this area is not really fit for purpose. It's not really a good long-term solution for the job.
That's right.
And
exactly.
Are you guys open to value management? Are you open to us saying, hey, we'll give you a conforming price for the product that you've said?
Yes.
But also this is what our recommendation is.
Yeah.
And that might be a different manufacturer. It might be a different finish. It might be all sorts of different things. So,
and that's actually happening at the moment at Coomera Hospital.
There you go.
The external.
The external, it is too.
Like, all due respect to architects, so it looks nice, but it's not practical.
Not practical.
A lot of things.
It's hard, you see it. And you can see why they love to look at it, because on paper, some of this stuff looks brilliant. And there's certain flavors of the month that come out, and there's different sand finishes and whatever else that they look and sound great. Yeah, but the practicality, not fit for purpose.
Yeah,
and
so that's right. Like, it looks good, great inside.
Yep.
But you can't put it outside.
No.
And some of them want it on the outside.
On the outside.
External. So,
yeah.
Yep. No, it happens.
Yep.
But we get around it.
Yep. So outside of Usher then, you obviously, you spend a lot of time here. You get here. What time do you get to work in the morning?
Well, some people, I won't mention any names, will argue, but I try to get here between 4 and 4:30
a.m.
Yep. Because I'm awake at 3.
Yep.
Been doing it for years. And then come in, get started. And then these days, about 5:45, go to the gym for an hour.
Yep.
And then with one of the young blokes, young Mike.
Yep.
And come back and...
Looking fit too, mate. Hey, 65?
Right. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And, and just do what I've got to do. And I usually round about 1, 1:30 or whatever. There's no time set.
Yep.
But head off home, and then I'll basically do a few more hours at home because I've got nothing else to do. But it's just good to get away from the office. But I get bored too easy, so instead of sitting home watching TV, I'll take my tower home.
Take your tower home,
and set it up in the little office I got at home, and then keep working until about, 5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah. Talk to us about the tower. You get a bit of stick from that from some clients that know about it.
Yes, and they'll know who it is. I'm not going to mention any names, but they give me a bit of stick. They'll say, why haven't you got a laptop?
Because I get in trouble for that. They're going, hey, why haven't you got him a laptop yet? So I'll try. He loves this tower.
Yeah, but it's easier. Just take out, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cables. Just unplug it.
Yep.
Put it in a little man bag, take it home.
Carry it down the stairs.
Oh, that was the big one when it was a bloody huge one, but it works fine.
Yep.
So, because I've got nowhere to put the laptop.
So every day you bring the tower back in, plug it in. When you're ready to go home, you take it with you.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've, again, admired, and it's been great for our working relationship, is just knowing that your commitment to the job and to your customers to getting things done, you get very, I wouldn't say overwhelmed. No, that's the wrong word. You care so much about the customer and their due dates and what that you want that you will do anything in your work extra hours to make sure that you're on schedule. And then you're up all of us about saying, hey, we need to review this job because I'm submitting it tomorrow. Like, you're in our face going, when have you reviewed it? When are the rates? What are we doing? And it's great because you need someone to hold us accountable too and make sure that we are looking after our customers.
You don't want to let them down because I don't like to let them down.
Yep.
And if we can't get an extension of time, well, we work around it.
Just make it happen. Yep.
So I don't think we've ever Well, I haven't started a job and then not submitted it because it's been late or for whatever reason. We've always got an extension of time.
Yeah, you're always communicating with them and letting them know where you're at.
And that's what they want.
Yeah, and again, that's the relationship for you. Like, I think you get a lot more leniency than other estimators and maybe other competitors do because of the relationship you build. You get on the phone and you say, hey, you know, I'm working through this. Oh, this is where I'm at. I probably need a bit more time. Yeah, straight away, they're like, no worries, Keith. That's all good. But you're talking to them. You're not just leaving them till the 11th hour and going, hey, sorry, I'm not ready.
Exactly.
And I think that's pretty cool too. But and I love with Usher in that we don't have that real clock in, clock out for our staff and business.
No,
because
that's right.
It's putting accountability and responsibility back to you to say, we trust you. We know that you know your job. We trust that you're going to look after the customers and do the right thing. Yeah. So you're managing your schedule in a way that fits you, but you make exceptions to how you might want to do things to make sure that you're looking after the customer as well. So yes, you might want to leave the office at 1 p.m, but if there's a 2:00 meeting with a client, you hang around, you do whatever you need to do, or 5:00 in Brisbane, you know?
That's right. We get it done.
Get it done.
It's not, and
there's always a bit of give and take too, right? You know, so you put in some extra hours, but we say, hey, Keith, like go play some golf and get out there.
I remember years ago, Theo, when he was more involved in the business, he'd get up me he'd say to me on a Friday at 9:00, what are you still doing here? Why aren't you playing golf?
Yep.
And I'd say, well, I've got to get this job out. Or if on a weekend I'd come in before I had the office set up at home, I'd come in and work from here, and he'd come in for whatever reason and he'd catch me.
Yep.
And he'd say, what are you doing here, bro? I'd say, well, I've got to get this job done. It's the weekend. And I'd say, well, it's got to be in by Monday.
Yep.
And we'd get it submitted, and he'd say, well, take time off in lieu, whatever you need to do. I'd say, yeah, whatever, Theo, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like,
what does it mean for you to have that flexibility? Like how does that impact your life in a positive way? Because you've got things and hobbies that you like to do outside of work as well. What's your main one?
Oh, golf's the main one.
Yes. Yeah, pretty handy with a stick.
Oh, I wouldn't say handy. Yeah. But
good handicap.
Yeah, it's average.
Yeah.
It's 14, 11, 14, around those figures. But no, I love it. And especially when we've got corporate day, I'm the first one to put my hand up and say, righto, I'm there.
Yep. But, again, building the relationships out on the course, having a laugh.
Yeah.
Looking after the customers.
Yeah. And then it's in wintertime going out bush.
Yep. What do you do at the bush?
Oh, fish.
Fishing. What happens in the bush stays in the bush, eh?
Yeah. Well,
there's actually a few hunters in Usher that like to get out.
Yeah, get rid of some feral animals.
Yep.
Only the feral ones. But no, it's good. I love it out there. It's just so peaceful. And yeah, a couple of us from here go, and we really enjoy it.
Yep.
Really enjoy it. Like, you know, we've got the weapons and we're very safe, but it's just good to get away.
Mm.
It's not so much bonding, it's just getting away from the city.
Yep.
It's it's relaxing.
Yep. That's good, mate. And with your 12 years in estimating and a long time of career in the construction industry, is there anything that you think has been really like your greatest asset in being successful in this industry? Like whether it's an attitude or a mindset or an approach, is there anything that you think has helped with your success?
Oh, I think, knowing the building industry.
So it's more that direct experience and
being
knowledge.
Being hands-on and on site. And then that's what I think's helped me with estimating, like knowing how to read the drawings.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the substrates and so forth. And, I think that's the big thing.
Yep.
But like I said, it's changed a hell of a lot. Like back in the old days, I'll call them the old days, the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
It was you could get a job with the experience that you've had on sites.
Mm.
But nowadays, I believe it's all changed. Like a lot of big companies, if you haven't got a uni degree,
the actual qualifications,
which is nothing against it.
Yeah. Yep.
It's all changed. You can't get a job, but I'm a firm believer is the more experience you get on site is the more you know.
Yeah. And I think practical real world experience trumps book experience, especially in this industry. And I think it's valuable to have, and there's certainly different aspects of the job and whatever else that need it. But like you said, I think you can tell someone who's actually been in the game, that's been on site, that's understood it, that,
Well, I learned a hell of a lot from the old timers when I was a young bloke.
Yeah.
And I still remember what they taught me, but it's not relevant these days.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but I'll never forget how to do some of the things they've taught me.
Yep.
But yeah, well, like I said, the big thing now is the uni. You go to uni and get your degree, and you become a site engineer.
Yep.
Which, like I said, I've got
a very typical pathway, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good on them for doing it.
Yep. No, it's amazing you've been able to create that success and use Usher as an environment to grow in. And I mean, you didn't step into Usher as a senior estimator straight up, did you? Like, you obviously were into estimating some pretty big projects from the beginning, but it's been a real growth journey for you too, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I keep saying the only reason they call me senior is because I'm old.
You're old.
Well, I am 65.
Yes, yep.
But I think I've got a few more years here yet. I don't want to retire.
Yep.
I'd get too bored. Plus, the old girl would kick me out.
Yep.
Hanging around her too much, but I just know I love what I do. I really do. Yep. Some people might not think that, but I can be a grumpy old bugger sometimes.
Yep.
I do. I love what I do.
Yep.
I really do.
It's awesome. I was going to comment on that. 65 now, 12 years in the industry. When is the retirement party going to happen? Or is it's just, I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
Writing it out, eh?
I honestly don't know. I said to Theo, I think it was last year, we had a bit of a yak outside, and he said something about retirement, and I said, well, I reckon I've got another 10 years in me.
Yep.
I know we all have our moments. You come in one day, you've had a crap day, and you go, stuff this, I'm going to go. I want to retire, but just full of piss and wind.
Yep. But, you actually love it, don't you?
I do. I do. I really do.
Yeah.
And
I guess we get those fake resignation letters floating around a few times. They're a bit funny. You chuck them under the nose and already pre-signed.
We have our blues every now and then, and I'll say to people, well, if you want to get rid of me, sack me.
Yeah.
It's just, it's all fun.
It's all fun. Yeah. No, love it, mate.
Yeah, no one takes it to heart. I give as good as I get, and it's great fun. Keeps awesome, people on their toes.
Yep. Love it. Well, it's been great to catch up today, mate.
It's been good.
Yeah, I've always loved a good chat with you. And I think maybe closing out, is there anything that you'd probably pass on, or words to a younger Keith, or for someone who's maybe just getting into the industry that doesn't know whether or not they want to go down a path of maybe following in your footsteps? If someone had aspired to be a cost planner or an estimator and wanted to be in your position, in their future, is there anything you'd say to them?
Just be confident.
Be confident, Back yourself.
Back yourself and be confident.
Yep.
You don't have to go out there and bull roar and, pretend that you know everything.
Yep.
Just be confident, and if you don't know anything, ask.
Ask the questions,
That's the biggest thing, and I'm asking questions all the time.
Yep. Still learning,
Yeah, word.
We can still teach an old dinosaur some new tricks.
My word, you can.
Yep.
But, and as you know, the computer's my biggest, not enemy, but emails and trying to fluff up things.
Yeah.
Thank God for ChatGPT.
Yeah. You've had some nice emails lately. You using that, Been pretty handy.
Yeah, we won't go into one of them, but it's good, the ChatGPT.
Yeah. Show us how do you type? What's your technique?
Well, actually, the same as Theo, but I'm not as quick. He's a one. He's
index finger.
Yeah, that's how he goes.
Yeah,
but he's
it goes like the clacker.
He does. You've heard him, haven't you? You can hear him when he's banging away.
Capital locks on.
Yeah, but I'm only but it gets me by.
Yep, does the job, mate.
It does.
No, love it. All right, Keithy.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Let's roll.
Okay.